I don't know if it was tongue-in-cheek, but McLovin brought this up and said, we should have Albert Breer on because prior to the game, you sort of made reference to, hey, if the Eagles lose this game, they go from 9th in the draft to 6th in the draft, and you showed a picture of Devontae Smith. Are you being funny?
No, I think that there was, put it this way, I think that the decision on the way they handled that game was organizational. I don't think it was Doug Peterson's alone. And I think the awkwardness of it, the awkwardness of the way that happened, I think absolutely calls into question the way this was handled. It looked sloppy. And I think you can make the argument too, Dan. This is an easy argument to make, right? Like if that happens in a 1:00 game, do we notice it? Maybe not, right? Like the fact that it was on that stage on Sunday night, the 256th game of the year and all of that played into it. But, I think the handling of the 17th game, the handling of week 17 for the Eagles was an organizational decision, and Doug Peterson's execution of it, I think, absolutely calls into question what their motivation was, especially because this was a 3-point game. Again, if Washington's leading by 14 points there, we're not talking about this, right? It was a close game. Jason Kelce had said what he said last week. And I do think the front office is cognizant of where they're picking and what could be on the line. Again, 3 draft slots. And, you can kind of wave your hand at that and say it's not a big deal. Well, what if they've decided internally, and I don't know this, but what if they've decided internally, we might be moving on from Carson Wentz. We want to look at the quarterbacks. That could be huge, right? Like now all of a sudden, if you're at 6, not only could you take a quarterback there, now you're in range to go up and get one maybe at 2 if the Jets decide they're moving that pick. So there's a lot of things where having the 6th pick would give you flexibility. And I do think, again, organizationally, there was a decision made on how they were going to handle that game.
Wow. Well, then I wonder if Howie Roseman, who's the GM, will step up. Because Doug Peterson looks awkward at these press conferences when he's asked about this. Mm-hmm. And even when he was saying, like, who made this decision? And he fumbled around. He didn't know how to answer it. So I think that there's credibility to what you're saying, that maybe it was out of his hands. It just didn't make sense. And you're right. I've said, after the fact, if it's a standalone game, everybody has an opinion. Everybody. Yeah. And if you want to start Nate Sudfeld, start him. Nobody cares. But you go, hey, we're down 3. This isn't Tebow time. I mean, we're making it seem like, you know what? I've waited as long as I could. We're bringing in Nate Sudfeld, and he's going to lead us to the promised land.